ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The Government Secondary School Track and Field Championships underway at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. The C.R. Walker Knights are the defending champions for the senior schools.
We prepared ourselves to go 3 straight this year. You know, we put in a lot of work. Every year we try to build a stronger team every year, so I'm confident. I know the other schools are gunning for us, so I'm prepared. I have Levine Joseph, my 800 distant meter runner. I'm looking for some good things from him. I got some under 17 girls who should shine this year, my sprinters. I won't say we're unbeatable, but I would say this. We prepare ourselves for GWSA and for the season. I'm a type of coach who I don't wait till the time to try to gather up athletes. Every year I try to replenish what is leaving out my graduates, and I try to replenish, and the younger ones that come in, I try to stay at them in the same way that I would the older ones. So it's more of a building every year for my teams. Motivating these kids is something else. You just got to show them that you're interested. You got to show them, you know, the opportunity that it presents. You know, it could give them.
Like C.R. Walker, the CH3's Raptors also looking to repeat as junior school champions.
Pretty much confident in doing so. We worked hard, so we're just ready to execute on the track and also on the field. The thing about the track and field, you don't really see it until you come out here. Other than that, you see meets on Saturdays or whatever, but other than that, you won't see the schools per se until you come to the track. In the bantam, you could be looking out for J.O. and Joseph. In the juniors, you could also be looking out for junior girls. You could look out for Nicole Smith and also Cresswell Farndon. They're ready to defend.
Following the government school championships will be the National High School Track and Field Championships next week. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture wants to ensure that this meet will encompass the entire Bahamas.
It's continued for 29 years, and we're hoping that this one would be one of the better ones as well, particularly with the support that has been given by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, where they're absorbing a great deal of the cost to assist us and assist the athletes in particular in getting here. And so we're again asking the coaches and the administrators and the principals to please ensure that your entries are in with your 20 persons. I mean, you can have more than 20, but obviously those 20 accommodations and ground transportations and meals will be covered by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. So we're looking forward to full participation. We started off with some 20 schools. We're hoping we'll have all of the schools throughout the length and breadth of the Commonwealth to participate in these events.
The various high school meets are, of course, a prelude to the Carifta Games, which will be held right here in the Bahamas this year. Golden Girl Pauline Davis-Thompson is a former Carifta athlete. She says what happens outside the track and off the field is just as significant for athletes as they look to obtain peak performance.
It's important that they go to bed on time, stay off their cell phones and things like that. Now, today's athlete is a little bit different from us back in the day. I guess, you know, we would tend to be a little bit more rigid in terms of more robotic in our preparation for a major championship, and so it's very critical that we taper off when it comes to the running part of it. So in other words, the volume, we decrease their volume, and we up the intensity, so they're doing less volume and high intensity work. And as Mr. Sands mentioned earlier, we have to make sure, be very careful in terms of injuries. They have to make sure they get their regular massages, make sure they get what you call like a flush out, make sure they're icing down, and most importantly, make sure they go to bed on time. But Minister, that's why we need a sports academy really bad, because it's very hard as a coach to police all of these things. But if we would have a sports academy, it would be so easy to get that done. Yeah. And I would say this, you know, once we put it on stream, I would say the drug tests are going to be living in the Bahamas for a very long time, because our athletes, meaning that's how talented we are as a country, that they're going to be like, my goodness, let the Bahamas keep producing all these great athletes. And so I'm looking forward to that day, Minister, when we get the Sports Academy going, because we could do some damage to the world.
The National High School Basketball Championships also just around the corner in Grand Bahama. It's all about providing more exposure.
That is something that definitely needs to be looked into, where we bring in we get this out there, the information out there, so that the junior colleges, the NAIA schools, the Division II and the Division III coaches would know that that the tournament is going on. I'm talking about the nationals right now, and let them know the Hugh Campbell perhaps is in a very bad time. A lot of teams are trying to position themselves for their own conference, and then the championship is probably doing conference tournaments starting. But the nationals seem to be in a prime spot for us to be able to attract college coaches to come out and view the talent here in the Bahamas. But the key is to get the information out to them.
And talking about providing more exposure for our youngsters, the Ministry of Education is fully on board.
The soccer championships for Trinidad and Tobago is on Sportsmax. They have given us a request for our basketball championships, in which the score was a 1-point difference. And so we find this is an opportune opportunity to be able to televise our high school activity and then broadcast that high school activity out to the world and indeed the entire Caribbean. And so we look forward to getting basketball on and then being able to work in conjunction with your ministry to ensure the track and field. This meet that we are talking about now is seen by the rest of our Caribbean brothers and sisters in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and the various countries throughout the Caribbean. And so one of the things the Ministry of Education is keenly looking at is broadcast value, rights, etc. Those things, and these entities are now calling us because of the value of the sport.
Pro basketball player WALTIEA ROLLE is home. She spoke with our Kelsey Johnson about what lies ahead.
This upcoming season I have a few offers. I have to sit and think what I want to do.
Any hopes of returning into the WNBA?
Eventually. You know, I'm still trying to work my way back in slowly, you know, after having my daughter and stuff, so I'm trying to work my way back into it.
How has the adjustment been?
It was difficult in the beginning, but you know, it's gotten a lot better. Playing last season, it went a lot smoother. It's getting better, so probably by maybe next season, or I'm trying actually this season to get back, but we'll see.
Would you say you're 100%?
Or about 80.
What would it take for you to make sure to get to 100?
Just got to keep pushing myself. Whenever I get on the court, just keep pushing.
Female basketball in the country continues to struggle, but president of the New Providence Women's Basketball Association, Minez Cargill-Sherman, is doing all she can to keep it alive.
2 years ago, when FIBA came here to visit the Bahamas, and I had that opportunity to meet with FIBA as the women's representative for basketball. And in that meeting, they spoke to me and they advised me on a lot of the administrative work that should be done by the Federation. At that time, it didn't seem feasible to me, but I realized as time goes, you know, the things that they said and the things that should be done by the BBF that is not being done by the BBF. One of the main reasons that they gave me for coming to the Bahamas, as a matter of fact, was simply because there are so many players. We have so many talented players that they see all around this world in pockets. Yet the Bahamas has failed to reach outside the Caribbean. We failed to even make the pre-qualifiers for any real big tournament. So that was one of the reasons that FIBA was here 2 years ago, just to see how we ran our programs, to see what it was exactly that we put into basketball. And like I said, some of the things that they said to me, I see them materializing as time goes on.
The Long Island Regatta may not come until June, but come next month in Montague Bay, a fundraising mini regatta will take place. Last year's event provided a twist where skippers switched sloops, and this made the competition even more exciting.
Everything is coming together real good. You know, I was talking to the guys in Nassau. They putting everything together now. They pretty much winding down to the final prep now, and right now they're looking at possibly the biggest fleet ever. I think possibly anywhere from 12 to 15 C-class boats participating. So all these guys got all this big talk, who's the fastest boat, who's the best skipper and all that. So that almost like gives you a chance to prove yourself, you know, who's the fastest boat and who's the best skipper. And last year, it's sure that pretty much the VDK right now seems to be the fastest boat, because it seems like no matter who go on the VDK, they're either first or second.
And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.